All right, Clayton, after the show, it's the AfterB.O. Welcome, everyone, to our YouTube web exclusive, the AfterB.O. Clayton, what are you drinking there on the AfterB.O? Who's our sponsor today?
Uh, this is Talia spicy hot chocolate stout.
Okay, so you are boozing it up right now. And
Well,
also,
it's looser. This is looser,
yeah,
so you got to get loose. What are you drinking, Pat?
straight gasoline.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
Gasolina.
Getting loose here on the AfterB.O. Anything could happen. So you're drinking chocolate.
It's not. No, cacao
Okay.
with some chili and cinnamon.
Oh, getting spicy here. So, Clayton, we just did another great episode. We previewed the Thanksgiving weekend films, but we also just watched a trailer. We
Yes, this
rewatched the
trailer.
trailer
It dropped what, a couple days ago?
a couple of days ago. It's the second trailer for Sydney Sweeney, Glen Powell, romantic comedy, Anyone But You. Now, they dropped that trailer a couple of months ago that was very much felt like a sex thriller. It had a
Yes.
50 Shades of Grey vibe to that initial teaser trailer. And I think there was a bit of an uproar because audiences have been told it's going to be a romantic comedy. And that first trailer was like Indecent Proposal. There were
Mm-hmm.
helicopters. It felt very European.
Mm-hmm.
No jokes. Uh, I mean, it was kind of intriguing because honestly, watching that trailer, I did think maybe there was going to be hardcore sex in that version of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, they made it look like deep water.
Yes, yes, yes. So I was kind of into that version, but then the second trailer, the full trailer dropped a few days ago, and this is indeed romantic comedy. It's from director of Easy A and Friends with Benefits, and there's a lot of
Mhm.
jokes, and they set up the premise that it's basically Sydney Sweeney, and Glen
Maybe
Powell.
someday,
Someday,
someday.
someday, um, they are they've hooked up before. There's a lot going on in this premise. So the two of them have had a
I mean,
one
not
night
really.
stand. They've
It's a
had a
very
one night
basic
stand,
it's very
and
basic, enemies to lovers.
a very okay. So you're well versed in this lingo.
It's almost cliche enemies to lovers.
Okay. So why don't you explain what is the premise of Anyone But You?
Well, they hooked up previously.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happened, they ended their if it was a one-night stand, they ended it acrimoniously, and now they're both going to her sister's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to make the people they actually want to be with, at least
Right.
at the beginning, jealous. So they pretend to not hate each other and pretend that they are lovers. It's
Okay.
as boilerplate as it comes, and it is a hard sort of tightrope to walk
Mm-hmm.
because you have to make them not like each other, but you have to make us like them.
That yes.
And in this trailer, they are both assholes.
Yeah, I mean him more than her. I would say I don't think she does anything particularly assholey in this trailer. She's
Not
kind
in
of
this trailer. There
boring.
is another trailer where she hits him in the nuts.
Yeah, I guess that's asshole behavior, but I don't know. I don't think that's too bad.
Uh the thing is,
He
they
should have
don't
puked though. If they showed the real life version, he would have puked because you get hit in the nuts, you automatically puke. We all
it's the
know that.
parental guidance rule. We all know this. But here's the thing about her. Okay, maybe she's not as big of an asshole as Glen Powell. She's not likable in this trailer at all.
Okay.
She does not show a likability. We don't show any reason why they would like each other at all.
Mhm.
And yes, Glenn comes off as too arrogant in this. He's a guy that can be very charming,
Yes.
but he can also be very arrogant. And from this trailer, the way they've cut it, it is full on in the red for arrogance.
No vulnerability in this trailer for
No,
Glen
no
Powell. Yeah.
vulnerability in this trailer. They make him look like a doofus. They make him look like a cut, beefed, oiled, sort of just arrogant prick.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is going to draw some people, but I don't think a general audience. He's not a star. He's not a guy that people are just going to say, Glen Powell, I'm there. So you
Right.
have to bring them in and charm them. And he's not charming in this trailer, which is a shame because we like him. I like him.
Yeah, yeah, he's great as Hangman and Maverick. He was good in that Netflix rom-com years back, the one with Zoe Deutsch, the setup.
Yes. The
He was
setup.
good in
Yeah.
that. This is obviously trying to make us think back to the 80s and 90s rom-coms. And I guess the early 2000s still had those rom-coms. The Meg Ryan type rom-coms or the Sandra Bullock, Julia Roberts rom-coms. Like those
Well,
are the classics.
the one I think they truly are aiming to try and recapture is the Sandra Bullock, Ryan Reynolds film that actually resuscitated his career, The Proposal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she plays sort of the asshole in that, and he plays the nice beefcake who also is sort of like over her. But the thing with that is there is a reason why he had animosity towards her. She was his boss that was mean to him and then was forcing him to pretend to be her lover.
Yeah.
And
You couldn't do
listen,
that today. I mean, people say that about Blazing Saddles. I disagree. You could do Blazing Saddles today. The movie you could not do today is The Proposal. Yeah, could not do that today.
Yeah, work and love are separate.
Yes.
It's like church and state.
Yep.
And I think that's the thing is that from this trailer, and a trailer is a commercial, right? So like, again, if you're Advil and want to sell a pill that is supposed to help with headaches, you don't want anybody to think maybe this thing ain't going to help me with my headache. And what this trailer is doing is not selling what we want, which is charming people, charming each other into liking each other. They're just two sort of miserable people not being funny because there's no funny set pieces in this.
I think in the end, that's a big thing. I have yet to see this trailer in a theater. I've only seen it on YouTube. But this does not feel, and this is a romantic comedy. This is not a romantic drama. It's not The Notebook. It's not a romantic sex movie like a 50 Shades of Grey. This is a romantic comedy. And I can't imagine anything from this trailer playing well, getting a laugh in a movie theater with an audience.
It's No Hard Feelings, which was not a genuine romantic comedy, but a sex comedy with a romantic bend.
Yeah. I think that is in the end going to be the big failing of this trailer is there's no jokes that work or that are memorable. The thing they're going for the most is the bit at the end when he gets his tarantula in his pants and he takes all his clothes off and he throws them off and then he's naked. And I don't think that is going to really get much in a live audience.
Well, Pat, what's funnier?
Your robot voice.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Clayton is fixing a robot voice, and listen, this is the AfterB.O. So this is as raw feed as it gets. We are not cutting this out. We are going to watch as part of the joy of this web exclusive of being a subscriber to the B.O. Boys YouTube channels. You are seeing Clayton right now fix a piece of faulty equipment that sometimes when we go long makes him sound like a common everyday robot, like the maid from the Jetsons. So that is what Clayton sounded like. Let's now see, what do you sound like? Clayton, you are now muted. We cannot hear you.
How do I sound?
Now you sound once again like Clayton, and the audience got to see all that happen. So we were talking about how unfunny this trailer is.
Well, so what I was going to say is, what's funnier than seeing a male model with a perfect body
Mm,
naked. I mean, what a barrel of laughs that is, right?
right, right,
When a man with no faults, perfect proportioned muscles,
right,
a chiseled face of a god, and there's out there nude. Could
right.
you imagine
Could you imagine? That
the
that's a thing.
embarrassment? And the hog is huge, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, that's
It's
hilarious. Look
it's
at
a
this perfect
three-hander. Him covering that hog is a three-hander.
exactly.
Yeah,
That is hilarious when a
yeah.
perfect specimen of a male with a giant hogger is naked out in front of beautiful women.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously that's a gag that plays a lot better if it's a Ben Stiller.
No,
Um,
because Ben Stiller is
he's in good
is
shape.
is in great shape.
If it was a John Goodman, if this movie was John Goodman and Sydney Sweeney,
Well, if Forgetting Sarah Marshall, a movie you dislike,
I do dislike that movie.
there
Okay.
is that scene where he is naked and crying and his little friend is out.
Oh,
Um,
Jason Segel, you're saying.
yes,
Yes.
and that is funny because the little bird is out and he's not in spectacular shape.
Okay. We're on YouTube. This is a web exclusive. If you want to say it, just say it. You could say dong. You could say schlong. You could say his rod was out.
His rod was out, his schlong was hanging. He was
So,
hanging brain, as they say.
right, right. You could say that because it's a YouTube web exclusive. So
Mhm.
we're not, we don't have to adhere to the rules of the sponsor. So, um, yeah, I agree that that gag plays a lot better if Glen Powell doesn't have a perfect chiseled body.
Mhm.
If it is a Jason Segel or John Goodman type, then that gag works. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bad trailer. They're both hot. They're both the thing is they're both people that when this movie got announced made sense. I do think audiences want to like this movie. They
Yes.
want it to work, but both of these trailers have been bad and not well received
Yeah.
for different reasons. And you only get so many chances to recut these trailers. I mean, in 2 weeks, are they going to give us a totally new trailer that makes this an adventure? Like, is the next try going to be this is the Lost City and it's more of a action movie?
I
Is there an action movie trailer coming for anyone but you?
It's looking like it, because they did the sort of standing in front of the screen, talking to the audience saying, "Here's a trailer for my movie," and then they're doing the funny thing, and then immediately got dunked on by Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone.
Hmm.
And that's bad because
That's
what they
bad.
were trying to do with the standing in front of the camera and speaking to the audience is, "Look at this real life chemistry we have."
Yeah.
And it failed because it was not chemistry. Whatever that was not chemistry.
And listen, I don't think they meant any harm in doing that, Nathan
No,
Fielder and Emma Stone, but that is that is pretty rough.
it was
You know,
damning.
it was pretty damning. And, Sydney Sweeney is obviously a star on the rise. She's been in things that people liked. She's given
Mhm.
performance people liked. But you do not want to be in that position a few weeks before your big movie comes out of having a direct comparison to Emma Stone.
No, yeah, absolutely not.
And I think less damaging for Glen Powell being compared to Nathan Fielder. I think he survives that one okay, but
But Nathan Fielder is funny, and there's a lot of women who love
yeah,
funny. I'm telling you, there's more people who wanna hook up with Nathan Fielder now because of that, as opposed to Glen Powell because of that.
I guess
More than
so.
there were before.
More
The
than there were
Glen
before. He
right,
closed the gap a little bit, but the
he
gap is
closed the
still
gap.
considerable.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a rough week for Sydney Sweeney to have her trailer parodied by Emma Stone and to have people start to think, "Oh, I wish Emma Stone was in this movie."
And this looks cheap.
Nothing against Sydney Sweeney, but it Emma Stone is Emma Stone.
Well, Sydney Sweeney most definitely eats the hot wings. Emma Stone, TBD.
Yeah.
I think also this looks cheap. It doesn't look like any different than any of the Netflix stuff that gets churned out.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a contingent that just assumed that boom boom Netflix was in front of this trailer and are waiting for it to be on Netflix. And when they can't find it, they're like, oh, well, I guess whatever. I'll just not watch it. I don't know how many people are going to go to the theater to see this thing.
I mean, we'll get into it on the podcast when this comes out, but man, this one feels like this is gonna open terribly.
Yeah.
And there's just so many movies opening up around the same time
Yeah.
that I feel like this movie opens up in like 8th place that weekend.
Yeah, this is going to be a rough one.
All right, so I think we've done it. I think we've covered this trailer. Did a great trailer talk on this episode of the AfterB.O. So everyone, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching the AfterB.O.